And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your boy Dropping Dimes, aka the Hopeful Romantic, aka the feminist who's showing his tendencies. And I'm here with my guys tonight, and we want to welcome you to the Sports is Our Love Language podcast. And I'm here as usual with my crew, my guys. First up, I'm going to announce you, my man, P. Pablo, aka El Schefter. If the news is in, he's got it first. And then we got my man. If we want the rule and how it's supposed to go, we're gonna go see our man Sean, and he is known as the Mr. Official. Then on the bottom left, we have our guy, aka Colombiano, aka Mr. World Cup, aka Javito. Last but not, and then we got coming up. Hey, look out, coming soon, very, very soon. My man Major Money dropping his new album, The Killer on the Mic, aka there he is, my man Dre. And last but not least, the Eagles fan himself, the high flyer, straight out of Philly, my man, hey. My man, I just want to fuck around and do some stupid shit.
That was hard, though, man.
Gentlemen, we are here with the Sports is My Love Language podcast, man. We're excited about a brand new show. Big news in the world of sports. I'm going to put this one out. Usually I do it in order, but I want to put this one out just so that we have enough time for people to comment and put up, their questions or put up their favorite moment. We're going to be talking about in response, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but we'll get there. In response or in recognition of the slap heard around the world, right? Which is our man Will the Simp Smith smacking Chris. I didn't do it, rock, right? We're gonna ask you guys, drop your favorite or your all-time Oscar sports moment. Oscar sports moment. So I'm putting that out there now. I'll put it in the chat so that we could so that when people come on they can see it. But put out your favorite Oscar sports moment. But before that, we're gonna go in order. How you doing, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, man. How you doing?
Great.
Our first lady, Miss Vegas, a little under the weather, but big shout out to her. Okay. First things first, man. We're in the middle of the NBA season, almost at the end of the NBA season. And there's a lot of hot topics, And I want to start with today. I'm going to start with AK. AK, you brought up James Harden. What are your thoughts? What's your opinion on James? What do you think is he over? Did he under deliver, or what's his deal?
I think in almost every aspect of basketball, he's exactly as he was advertised. Right? He's a floor general. His basketball IQ is through the roof. He literally puts everybody on that team in a better position to succeed. My problem with James Harden right now is it doesn't seem like he has the explosiveness to drop that 35, 40 points to win a playoff game. Now, even when he had that explosiveness, he wasn't doing that to win a playoff game. There's a guy, Bill Simmons, who made up his own, he was bought out by ESPN, and he did an analysis. It's crazy if you look at it. All of James Harden's big games, he disappears. And that was when he was averaging 36, 34 points a game. He's only got over 30 points once since he joined the Sixers, and that was last night when he had 3 points in the fourth quarter and he missed a game-winning three-pointer badly. So my concern, we got everything we wanted from this trade, except I don't think right now that we have that second star, James Harden, who in that game where Embiid's off can go out and drop 35 or 40. Is he saving himself for the playoffs? We'll see. I mean, I could buy that to some extent, but not when you're not doing it even once. So my biggest issue is not his all-around game. I think all to be advertised. I think he's actually a little bit better on defense than we suspected. But from a take over the game, put the ball in your hands in the fourth quarter, get you that bucket. Like Javi talks about Chris Middleton a lot. I don't think he's near the player that Harden is, but he could do that. You could give him the ball in the last 5 minutes, and he'll hit 2, 3, 4 shots in a row.
Yes,
I was watching Giannis against the Sixers. He's not a terrible free throw shooter, but he's nowhere near a good one. He wanted the ball when they knew they were going to get fouled.
Exactly.
This is what you need, and you need to have a second guy. And I think Embiid is that way. You need to have a second guy who wants the ball, who's aggressive enough when James drives. if he doesn't get the foul call, he has no lift. He doesn't get. I mean, it's crazy. Driving and dishing, fantastic. Driving and finishing, I don't see it. So it makes me think the Sixers are not championship contenders right now. I know that every team in the East is flawed, but I definitely thought that, okay, the last year in Houston, he averaged 34 a game. The year before that, 36 a game. Like, not even Kobe put up these numbers in back-to-back years, right? Like, this is something where I said, hey, just in the Nets, it was kind of a down, he didn't need to do that. But now I'm realizing I don't know if he can. So
I got a question for you. Who's a player, right, that you would, if you could take that attribute from them, that attribute that he's missing, who's the player that you would point to?
I'll take Dame Lillard in a heartbeat. He'll shoot any last second.
Yeah.
And Harden don't really take care of his body. So how is he going to age? If we keep him after this year, if he doesn't opt in, which I don't know why he would, you got to pay him $250 over 5 years. This guy's already declining. He doesn't take care of his body. I mean, I hate to knock a guy who in my mind is top 10, 15 players in the world, but this is real to me. And I've seen it now enough where he can control the whole game against Chicago, Cleveland, those mid-tier teams. But we've lost to every good, solid contender we've played since he got here. So I don't want to eat up the whole time on this, but very passionate about this, obviously, because this is the only team that has anything from Philly. And Villanova now, too, but they lost their best players, so I'm not asking them.
I got a question about that, though. Let's stay there. You rather have him playing on the ball, right? You rather have him playing on the ball. Point guard.
Great point guard.
Right. So you wouldn't ever see a scenario where he played off the ball as the two.
Dude, he's shooting the lowest three-point percentage of his career. He's shooting the lowest field goal percentage of his career. Where's the value in that? I just figured maybe the burden with him is the fact that he is that floor general, and it's kind of like taken away now in this part of his career away from his killer instinct to go to the basket or to close the show. You know what I mean? So like maybe sometimes it would behoove them to give the ball up and kind of create shots for him. We have no depth.
Put him in scenarios.
We have no depth, Mike, and Maxi's not a point guard.
Yeah.
He's a combo guard. I mean, this is what it is with James. Look, you can't take the ball out of his hands because he's such a dominant passer and dribbler. But he's got to be able to say, give me the ISO, I'll get the bucket at the end of the game. He's not being able to do that.
Hey, AK, real quick question on Harden. Did that NBA rule change that they implemented affect him? Did that really?
Certainly, but you'd also say, right,
Absolutely.
I'll ask a question to you, Pablo. You would also say that generally refs tend to hold their whistles a little bit more at the end of playoff games and games. So, this is something that he's had an issue with. Certainly, that certainly affects him.
No, in terms of just that how lethal it was being able to play that way.
He's not getting those fouls, and then it's just lost possessions.
Yeah. Or he's not even just getting that clearance that he was getting before also, right?
Yeah.
So
I watched him as a Net fan. I watched him from last season to the beginning of this season when he was on it, and I saw the same thing with the rule change. Man, it completely shook his game. It shook his confidence. It shook his game. You see, I saw it.
Yeah, that's half of what's got him all messed up. The other half is he lost his first step. He lost his burst in his first step. So he can't get by the first defender to use his body in the ways that he's most brilliant at using it to get fouls. So he can't even put himself in a position. His foul shots are down. Everybody's guarding his dominant hand, which is just take away his left, and then he just dribble, and he has to learn how to score in motion and not just in isolation.
And I mean that's age and the hamstring, right? As far as
and also if you can't do that, it's not just your drive. Like when you're a little heavier. I mean, anybody who's played ball knows this. Now you're pushing more than shooting on the 3-pointer,
right? Because
you need a little bit more lift. Like you don't have the same lift. So
exactly.
Anybody else have an opinion on Harden or thought whether he's I'll tell you this much, that whole they're the best duo didn't age well. Didn't age well, man. But
so who won? Grade the trade now. Who won it as of right now?
Yeah, Ben hasn't played. We don't even know.
I know. You don't even know. That's what I'm saying. You can't even.
Is he ever going to play? No one knows.
I remember, Sean, the way it goes, we traded Seth Curry and a backup center for him in the end.
But I'll tell you right now,
that's a good trade.
The way Drummond's playing, Like he added a nice dimension to that team, man.
Yeah,
but those depth and size, right?
Because Embiid plays 38 minutes in the playoffs. He wasn't so valuable.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a hole at backup center. Javi?
Nah, I'm just throwing the peace sign out for Andre Drummond. That's all I gotta say.
I think getting rid of Seth is gonna hurt a little bit come playoff time.
Yeah, it is. But it's still, in the end, if you consider Simmons not playing for us, we traded Seth in our backup center for Harden. That's a plus.
Yeah, it's a plus.
You're right. He hurts. It hurts not having him because he's knocked down.
Yeah, Seth is knocked down.
One thing, sorry, I don't want to monopolize this, but the one thing we got to see is when we played Atlanta in the playoffs last year, everybody Seth Curry guarded went for 25 every night. So I'm curious to see if teams are going to do that. I mean, Hoarder was averaging 23, 24 points a game against Seth Curry, right? Bogdanovich was eating him up. So that's what I'm curious to see.
Let's just say defense is not a strong point. All right, Dre, you made a really good point yesterday, and you were talking about LeBron, all right? So I'm interested to hear, tell the guys, what was your point on LeBron as far as record chasing? Is he going to shut it down? What's his deal?
So, I don't want to just say he's record chasing because he was forced into this position. Like, the Lakers came into this season thinking they were going to be playing for a championship. So, it's not like he came in thinking, listen, I'm just going to chase this record and I don't care about the team. But as time went on, and LeBron being as smart as he is, I feel like he started realizing slowly that there was no shot that they could win a championship this season. Not make it to the first round and then give a team a nice fight. Not that, because LeBron, that's not his standard. That's not the Lakers standard. So when he realized that was happening, that's when that burst started happening of all those 30-point games. And while everybody thought that was in an attempt to get the Lakers back in the playoffs, I personally think he just started doing the math. He wants to break the record next season. And he just started going for himself because going for the team 35, 4 nights in a row, and they lost 3 out of the 4 games. So he stopped trying to facilitate and do all that other stuff. He's not playing any defense at all. All his energy right now is to scoring. So I feel like he's checked out and he's just scoring as many points as possible so that next season he can break the record earlier than the All-Star break.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
So I'm kind of on that same line with you a little bit, Dre, but I think it was evolving. I think he started the season for both.
Okay.
He's not, we know he's not, we know he's a smart guy, very strategic guy. So he knows that was within reach. But yes, at the same time, at the beginning of the season, okay, we've got, AD's back and Westbrook and we got Melo and blah, blah, blah. The only part I would kind of disagree with in terms of the beginning is he put this team together, so he bears responsibility for this.
Of course.
A lot of people were, a good part of the responsibility, not all of it. But, but he had to kind of, a lot of other people were saying, I don't know, this is going to work. But anyway, so the season goes along. All right, so AD is AD. I play great, and I get hurt. They come back, I get hurt. But I think once I think that transition to I'm just gonna chase these points.
Right.
Is the realization of Westbrook just not being Westbrook anymore.
Yeah.
I think kind of really became a reality. Like it was like back and forth a lot with Westbrook, but then at some point it was just like, bro, it's not you no more.
If you guys remember, Westbrook wasn't even LeBron's first choice. He wanted DeMar DeRozan. But DeMar DeRozan's contract was too complicated, and they didn't want to give him the 30-year guarantee, so he moved on from the Spurs to the Bulls. But LeBron wanted DeMar, and then he ended up with.
Yeah, but the only part about after that is that he didn't have to get Russell. He could have gotten other pieces.
He could have gotten Buddy Hield, who's
which I would think a lot better.
Who shoots 40-something%, 85% from the line. You're absolutely right.
That's why I said he has to bear some of that. Yeah, he has to bear some of that, failure.
Yeah, he has to hold that. He has to hold that down.
So, but but overall, I'm in line with you on that. I think now he's kind of in that. Well, all I got for this season to salvage, because we know he wasn't tanking. He wasn't tanking.
Right.
Else he wouldn't be putting up these points. He's balling. I just think he's just not driving the leadership on the team and trying to.
Well, I mean, you could tell right away. I think his assists, his assists are down like by like 2 or 3 a game, which is a lot, right? It's not a lot. Right. That's a lot in basketball. His assists are down.
His assists are down by 1, and his rebounds are up by 0.7. This is the career stats.
Well, yeah, no, we're talking about like if you break down the season from when we thought he was actually in playoff mode to where I feel like now he's more like in like you said, killer score mode. He went from being
4 assists from the championship season of 2 years ago. He's down 1 assist from 1.5 from last year.
I just think those intangibles that he does as a leader. I just don't think he's
basketball IQ.
Dude, he leads the league in minutes. He leads the league in scoring,
which is astonishing at 30. What is it? How is he?
37.
Jesus.
And also for the first time, he's really high in turnovers too. Like really, really high in turnovers. Like really
which shows that he's pushing. He's
close
pushing
to Russ. Russ is number 1 in turnovers.
Dre, I got to fight back on you on this. He's got 3.5 turnovers per game this year. The last 4 years were 3.7, 3.9, 3.6, 4.2, 4.1. So he's actually the lowest out of the last 7 years or 6 years.
But what was he doing earlier this season?
That's spread out because of the amount of games he played. I feel like he gets a cheat code this season because he played in a smaller sample size of games.
Could be. I think at the end of the day, fuck the eyebrow. The eyebrow screws everything up, bro. He's
soft as man.
Oh God, bro, that guy makes me so sick, man.
But you guys are like New York fans, like you're like Yankees fans right now. Like he won them a championship, right? Like,
but you know what?
One championship,
bro. He's
really guy in any sport.
He's hurt. He's hurt 85% of the time.
I'm with you, but they won 1 chip. I get it with the Lakers, but
they got that bubble chip. They got that bubble chip.
He's trying to put an asterisk next to it without.
I mean, it's a frat house championship, bro.
I saw him play against him literally a month ago, and he ate and beat up, man. Like the problem is health. You're right. Like he can't stay on the floor.
There's no doubt the guy is super ultra talented.
Yeah,
but that's what bothers you the most. That you're like, if this guy just played, let's say, 25% more games. Yo, they're not fighting to get into the playoffs, bro. They're not sitting on the outside looking in. They're not only they're in, but yo, they're a threat to anybody.
So I got a question. Did the sun start shining more on the Eastern Conference because of Klay Thompson's injury, Paul George's injury, Kawhi Leonard's injury, and all the injuries to the main players in the Western Conference teams that used to be Jamal Murray's injury because the Nuggets haven't been the same since he's been down. I feel like the East benefited from the West having a lot of injuries to their main players. As far as being known as the strong conference now, all of a sudden.
Maybe. I mean, it's just good to see.
But if you look at I'm going to say yes, right, and I'm going to agree with you. But I'm also going to say if you look from top to bottom, let's say depth wise numbers, I think you have more complete teams on the East. You know what I mean? Let's say a team like the Miami Heat, where like Jimmy Butler's like their guy, right? Jimmy Butler. The Bam Adebayo, whatever. They're a team, right? Where would you consider Jimmy Butler a superstar?
Yeah,
I don't put him in superstar. I put him in very good.
Superstar in name or
in name? Like, would you consider him
in name? Yes, but as a LeBron or KD level superstar, on the court?
My point being, would you even put him up with like with Kawhi? Would you put him up there? Like, I don't know. Or Klay Thompson. I would say like. That team right there says
he's Paul George.
They're like a complete right. He's more like a Paul George. They're like a complete team. And I think if you look at the Celtics, even though Tatum's a monster, they're more of they have more depth. I think the East just has more depth on their bench, and they are more complete teams. So I do believe that had the Stars been in the West, it would have been maybe like a closer comparison. But I think when you take a closer look, the teams on the East are deeper. They're deeper even, and their benches go deeper. You know what I mean? Like it's not just the star and then a big fall off after them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I would say Phoenix will apply in that too, because with Paul being out, yeah, it's Booker, but they got some players on that bench.
They're playing ball right now. Bro, they're balling.
Which is why they have the best record in the league.
Between the Clippers, the Nuggets, and the Warriors, and now the Grizzlies missing Ja and the Suns, you guys are right. But I'll also say Mike's right too. Like the 8, 9, 10 are Clippers without Kawhi and Paul George, Pelicans and Spurs. The 8, 9, 10 on the other side are the Nets, Hornets, and Hawks. So there's no question the East is stronger in that spot.
For sure. You know, I got a question for you guys. I didn't post it. Well, you know what? Let's go on to this next topic over here within the subcategory of basketball. I touched on it earlier, but best NBA duo. We need to go back. Let's take a look at this now, man. That Chris Middleton take does not look so bad.
Whoa.
Chris Middleton take does not look so bad. Howie, what are your thoughts? What are you talking about, Chris Middleton?
The guy's been balling. You know, he's been basically.
He's all right.
You know, as much as you want to say he's all right, like what we just spoke about before.
I like him, man. He's a closer.
He's a closer.
He's dependable.
Of course, you know, if Giannis doesn't got it going, or, you know, you could just give it to Chris Middleton and he could get you buckets, man.
He's very boring, though. He's a little Tim Duncan-esque. Like, show a little freaking emotion sometimes. I can't take it.
But I'm okay with that, you know, just as long as you're balling. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, doesn't matter what you say. Doesn't matter about your personality. When it comes to the game of basketball, are you proven to be that guy that I've been saying, you know? And he has lately, man. He's been, you know, like,
I gotta give it to you.
You know, he's been doing his thing, you know. But obviously, you know, a lot of people are gonna go with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. And I'm not gonna say that's probably not the best duo, but I still feel like when it comes to like defense and getting buckets, like you just saw, was it yesterday? You know, Giannis basically closed the game on a block on Embiid, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday or the day before.
Yesterday.
You know, like you're not gonna get that from Kyrie and KD. You're gonna get points, but you're gonna get the whole package when it comes to Giannis and Chris Middleton. You know, they're defending champs for a reason. So, you know, I'm gonna go with the guys that basically have won it.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, last time I went with, you know, being a Bulls fan with DeRozan and Zach LaVine, but they were like in first or second place at the time. Now they're in fifth. I mean, they're still good, but honestly, I'm going to say a funny one, and then I'm going to say my real one. Does it feel like Jokic is a duo on his own right now? The way he's playing, does it feel like he's like two people?
He's a one-man team, bro. That's what he is. He could score and he can assist.
But I mean, I'm just being funny in that one. But for me, legitimately, I think it's the Tatum and Brown in Boston. I think those two guys have been just when they kind of got on the same page, you know, because early on in the season they weren't on the same page and they were struggling. Once they kind of, you know, got together and figured it out, they've just been tearing up everybody, you know. So I think it's them right now just because of the way that team is playing. And there's no way that team would be on fire like that if those two were not on the same page, doing what they each do every night. So I mean, I think for me right now it would have to be those two guys.
I don't see
that's not a bad duo either. Yeah,
that's not a bad take. I mean, they damn near in first place again, right? I mean,
that one game out,
the way they've been balling, Jesus Christ.
Pablo took my take, so I'm a sell my backup. Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr.
Oh yeah, Ja Morant's a beast, bro.
They're both balling.
It's tough.
Jaren Jackson Jr. is a monster on defense, rebounds, and offense. He's a lob threat, and he can post up. Mid-range, he's pretty good. And Ja Morant is something to watch, boy. When he comes this way, I'm buying a ticket.
Yo, Ja Morant. Let me ask you guys a question. A little bit off. Who's the most exciting basketball player right now in the league?
Him right now, to me.
I bet he has playing.
To me.
For sure.
I say the same. Anybody else? Anybody got somebody else?
I'd say Giannis is a B, but yes, Ja Morant's the most exciting.
Yeah.
I think he's a human highlight, bro.
Man, he gets up so high, bro. What the hell?
It was just like Trae Young last year when Trae Young was just balling out.
Said Alex Caruso on that
Trae
bull.
Young is a human highlight as well.
That's the GOAT, bro. Alex Caruso's the GOAT.
Pick Caruso on that bullshit.
Caruso's a very underrated NBA player, man. I don't think guys like a lot of guys look at him.
They don't understand what Caruso can be to a team,
but if
bro.
you look at stats, if you're a stat person, Caruso fills up the stat sheets, man. He gets steals, he'll get rebounds.
And he's intangibles, bro. He gives a lot of effort, man. He
plays
plays good defense.
Really good.
It's very good defense, man.
He calls out plays on defense. I would want him on that team.
I'm glad he's on mine.
He reminds me of the one white dude on the Elizabeth basketball team. We all played with him before.
That guy reminds me of the Rapparellis in West New York. What do you call it? Okay, yo, I got another question. Again, I'm just kind of flying with this one. What's up with Zion, man?
He's out.
Is he not the biggest? Is he not about to be like the biggest flop ever?
No, Embiid missed his first 3 years.
Greg Oden was the biggest.
Greg Oden, yeah. Embiid was bad.
Dude, Greg Oden was different. Like, Zion was a monster last year. Let's not forget that. Like, his true field goal percentage, it's an injury. What are you going to do? Like,
well, I also heard that he's just not losing his weight. I heard he's not taking care of his weight. And a lot of the injury is not like getting better because of that. That's what they're a lot of saying.
Those beignets are lethal in New Orleans, man.
He's not old enough to get into strip clubs, so what's he doing?
Man,
this guy wasting our time, bro. What's wrong?
He's eating that jambalaya.
He's not down there at Tootsie's getting shoulder rubs. What's wrong with him, man?
Yeah, hurricanes and hand grenades down in New Orleans.
Hand grenades.
That's all there is to do in New Orleans: eat and drink, bro, and then just party on the street.
All right. So, what do you call it? We're gonna run into some of the top teams. I'm gonna name off some teams, and I want everybody to kind of give me your opinion. We'll maybe do like a little stock up, stock down type of thing. Give me your opinion. Is their outlook good? Is their outlook bad? We're gonna start off with the Boston Celtics. What are your thoughts on the Boston Celtics?
My first thoughts are, I don't know what is the Celtics like the Ukrainian basketball team.
Oh, shit, sorry. Let me hide that.
No, I think the Celtics are scary as hell.
I got my glasses.
I think they're super scary. I think you have two teams in the league that have this combination when healthy: George and Leonard, Brown and Tatum. Where your two best players are wing players in today's NBA that could handle the ball, that could play defense, that could shoot the ball, that could pass the ball.
That are stone cold killers.
Killers. Not afraid of the moment. I think Boston doesn't have enough depth to win the championship. But, dude, they're 25-5, like it's something like that in their last 30 games. I mean, they have been the best team in basketball, better than
this calendar year. They lost 5 out of 30 games. You're right.
Getting White from San Antonio, big move. Like, that team is scary, and I would love to see them in a first-round matchup with the Nets just because I'm one of those two out.
Losing Robert Williams is going to hurt.
Yeah, losing Williams is going to hurt. Good point.
That could be the reason they may
because of their defense. Their defense is, I think, number one in the league this year. Yeah, that's a great point.
Because he alters a lot of shots, man, and he blocks the rest of them.
I mean, they may get by Toronto because that's kind of where they're sitting right now, 3-6.
Yeah.
But second round, I mean, he would be back for the second round. So,
right.
but still, it's a meniscus, and it's a shaved meniscus. It's not a repaired meniscus, which is different.
Right.
Because when you shave the meniscus, it means you have less of it. Because and then shape. I mean, that's 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Okay. Let's go. Dre, Phoenix Suns.
Phoenix Suns, man. I think we should go to Sean. Got to give it up to him because he was the one that made the correct call on the Phoenix Suns. I went the other way saying that Chris Paul was too important and they would drop off. They haven't really dropped off, man. So I'm going to give it to Sean.
Sean, what did you see? What did you see that told you that they wouldn't?
It's not so much seeing. It's just I looked at the opportunity of these young guns just trying to mesh together and gel together and taking that opportunity and running with it. And then, like, it just builds their confidence level. Like, they just what they just did right now was just give them confidence level to go forward. That they don't need Chris Paul. That when he comes back, he's just going to fit along as a piece of the puzzle and just add a tremendous amount of depth to that lineup. They're scary. I want to see a Western Conference matchup between them and, of course, Golden State. That would be a nice little matchup there.
Golden State got their number, though.
Yeah, I know. But
Sean, is Cam Payne the best backup point guard in the league?
Possibly.
20+ a game every time.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, you got, don't even forget, they got, JaVale McGee, too. He's a solid backup,
Cam Johnson might be the best backup 3 in the league.
Yeah.
Manuel
They got
Quigley,
depth, man. They got depth. And
they're
not going to be faced. They're not going to be faced with that shock that they got faced with when Chris Paul was out of the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? When he got hurt. This time around, I think this is kind of maturing their squad so that they're like, all right, he's gone, no problem. We got to keep it moving. Where I think the shock alone of having their quote unquote leader come off the court really screwed them up because they had a lot of – they were good last year, man. They were good.
Does anyone think he's not going to get hurt in the playoffs?
No, he always – let me tell you something about Chris Paul.
You better have Jake from State Farm one.
Exactly.
Let me tell you something about Chris Paul.
Just don't forget that DeAndre Ayton is a question mark as far as the playoffs.
Yeah.
And Jokic is a stone cold killer. So don't let the wrong matchup happen where he ends up facing – not Rudy Gobert, because I don't really think he's that, I think Ayton could probably get the better of him, even though he's like defensive player of the year because of the rebounds and blocks, whatever. But Jokic, I think he could have a problem with him, bro.
If you look at stats, he plays Jokic better than any center in the NBA.
Right.
Like last week, I don't know how much of a, kind of baseline there is to that. But yeah, I hear you. Jokic is going to kill everybody.
Yeah.
What's this? Javi, New York Knicks.
Are we talking about next season?
I just want to hear his rant. Listen,
bro.
That's a setup for his rant.
Listen, baby, I went to the game on Friday. We smacked the Miami Heat. That's all I care about right now. Beating the Miami Heat was a thrill for me. But listen, man, it comes down to what is the front office going to do this offseason, basically. Now, that's how I see it. I mean, you got to get rid of a lot of guys, to tell you the truth.
You know what the front office is going to do? They're going to give better cable packages. They don't give a fuck about the Knicks.
You know why they don't care? Because it's always a sellout.
Sold out. Yeah,
they don't give a shit. They know front row is going to be every superstar in New York City is going to be sitting front row.
It's sad, bro. It's sad. I thought it was starting to come back to the right way, but
you want to know what's crazy, right? In a city, right, where when the Super Bowl was in the tri-state area, right, when it was the Seahawks and Broncos, you barely felt a blip on the radar. You barely felt it. I was in the middle of the city hanging out, and I barely felt like I saw a couple people with jerseys, but you barely felt it. To tell you this, the Knicks suck, and on a good rivalry night, the city still gets freaking electric when the Knicks play, bro.
Right.
How crazy is that? That goes to show you the pull and the juice that team still. All they have to do is put a good product on the court, man. They put a good product on the court, and the city is theirs. I mean, maybe never from the Yankees because the Yankees always own it, but it's theirs for the taking, at least for the summer. You know what I mean? For their season, and they just do not. The owner just does not give a fuck, man.
I don't know, but look. I'm not gonna say James Dolan was a great owner but he's hired, guys, and it's not like he's not, willing to pay contracts either. It's just, the Knicks. It's just the losing. Like,
hey guys,
nobody wants to go to a losing franchise, so it's kind of hard to basically get that going the right way again.
It's the player development that's the problem. They always have to work off a trade.
Yeah,
they can never work off something that they built.
Sorry to cut in.
We got a brief interruption. My man El Schefter just dropped some news on us.
So
go ahead, El Schefter.
Bruce Arians is retiring and Todd Bowles is taking over the Bucks.
Oh shit! That's what's up.
You're trading one of the best offensive minds in the history of football for a defensive coordinator to run the team.
Hold on, I got a question.
Retires,
right?
Huh?
Why didn't Leftwich get that job then?
I'm surprised.
I guess Todd Bowles has a little,
Head coaching experience already.
He was the worst. He doesn't smile. The guy's the worst.
Right.
I had him as a Jet coach. He's horrible. But
I think Brady retires before the season starts.
He might. I don't know why. Well, I would say this: you could retire. Bruce Arians could retire, and they don't really skip a beat because I think on the field it was more so Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady kind of just
doing their thing.
They're kind of coming to agreement on. Tom says, "Hey, look, this is what I see." This is that probably is the easiest job in the history of like NFL football. Tom Brady walks off the field. He's like, "Yo, this is what I see," and then you see Byron Leftwich talk about, "I concur." All right,
right.
Good.
I see that shit too.
That's it. That's what I would do.
You got to put some respect on Bruce Arians' name, yo.
Oh, for sure.
He's a beast coach, man.
Yeah, he's a really good coach. I like him.
Look at his whole history.
I know. I like what he did in Indiana.
I think he's a Hall of Fame coach for sure.
I like BA. Yeah.
He has 2 Super Bowls, right? He won the one for Chuck Pagano in not Pagano in Indianapolis.
Pagano. Yeah,
he was a coach.
I don't think they won.
With Tony Dungy.
No, I think he was in Pittsburgh when Dungy was in Indy, wasn't he?
He won as an assistant in Pittsburgh, didn't he? I think.
No. He was an assistant in Indianapolis, and the coach got cancer. The head coach got cancer, something like that.
Yeah,
right?
They won the Super Bowl.
But they didn't
win. They only won with Tony Dungy.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now. You guys did it.
You're acting like we don't have Google right in front of us.
I did.
I'm sure.
He won 2 as an assistant with Pittsburgh, and he won 1.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, he's definitely a Hall of Fame coach. Anyways,
It's
back
funny
to
that he
NBA.
retired at a younger age than Tom Brady.
All right, guys, let's move on. So I touched on it earlier. In honor of the smack heard around the world, we decided to cover our greatest Oscar sports moment, where some kind of drama, some kind of like really crazy incident happened. And I asked the crew to come around and pick theirs. So we're going to start with my man. Let's start with El Schefter. El Schefter, what was your Oscar sports moment?
I think, one of those memorable sports Oscar moment was when Pedro Martinez decided to toss Don Zimmer to the side like a sack of potatoes. It's just. I mean, obviously Pedro. Since then has regretted it. And he said he wished he would never, have done it. But it was funny to me. I mean, I know Don Zimmer is an old man, but he was running his mouth. But but
rest
still,
in peace, Don Zimmer. Rest in peace.
but it was a wild moment. It was like there's a bunch of guys going at it, and of all
Was
the guys,
that the fight where my man, the Australian pitcher for the Yankees,
Graham Lloyd.
Yeah, when he came in, he was throwing bombs. Yo, my man was throwing bombs that
was years prior to that.
But it was just funny.
That was against the Orioles. And
Armando Benitez.
But
he came in there throwing bombs. I was like, now that guy wanted to fight.
And Strawberry. Strawberry.
Yeah. I just find it funny that of all the things going on, all the people going at it, that you picked the old man.
The old man.
No, the old man
charged him, bro. The old man rushed him.
I know, but he could have olayed him like a matador.
That's what he did. He did. He went like this.
It
It just kind of like it was aggressive. It was aggressive.
It was just funny.
It wasn't right. It was aggressive.
It was still one of those like holy shit,
Yo, for real. I was like, he killed him. Oh shit, he killed him. Sean, what do you got? You got an Oscar sports moment?
Yeah, well, it wasn't on the field, but I gotta say, the Jim Rome Chris Everett interview. Jim Everett. Jim Everett.
That's why he got pissed off.
Yeah, that's why he got pissed off.
You better watch
that was great. Hearing Jim Rome scream like a little bitch was the greatest thing ever, bro. If you hear him, he has like blood curdling screams, bro. It was one of the most funniest things ever.
I saw that interview.
I'll find a clip later and post it on the group.
You see him building? And he goes, call me that shit one more time.
Say it again.
And he's like a little kid. He goes,
he disrespected him to his
Chris
face.
Everett.
Come on, man. That's disrespectful.
Yo, okay, Phil, what do you have as your sports?
All right, you guys will have to Google this, but back in the day, our outside linebacker named Seth Joyner didn't just sack Troy Aikman. He ripped his helmet off and started running around the field with the helmet in the air. It was so unnecessary because I think Aikman got a concussion on that play. And, well, like we said, I mean, Troy Aikman gets a concussion opening up the invitation to the Oscars itself. But like he concussed him and he ran around the field with his helmet. Obviously, to me, that's my favorite one. I'd say the Kermit Washington punch on Tomjanovich, which ended two careers.
Wow. Oh yeah,
that ended two careers. If you guys haven't seen that, probably
that's a violent punch, bro. He was never the same.
That was different, and his career was over. And Kermit Washington was a really good player, and Tomjanovich was a beast too. So that's the one I'll go with. But definitely Troy Aikman's helmet getting ripped off by Seth Joyner. None like it for me.
Dre, what do you got?
All right, so I'm gonna go with Jeff Van Gundy defying gravity.
Hold it on.
Only weighing 5 pounds, trying to grab on
to Alonzo Mourning's legs.
Bro, it was like he was weightless, right?
It was.
Yeah.
It was like when your little kid grabs onto your leg when you're walking across the floor. Don't go, Daddy, don't go.
Yeah, that's mine, though. That fight was crazy, though.
I loved it.
Can I ancillary Charles Barkley mushing Shaq in his face in any Detroit Pistons, Sixers, or Lakers game?
Right. Remember that.
I'm setting mine up. So, all right, Javi, what's your sports?
Back in the 90s, there used to, and I think it was like late 80s, there used to be this great lady tennis player called Monica Seles.
Yes. Monica Seles.
All right.
Nice.
And, you had a crazy, obsessed fan of Steffi Graf who was.
Yes.
All right. That was basically right underneath Monica, because Monica was number one. Steffi was always trying to get to number one. And then you got this fan that just decided to stab her in the back. And that to me, I was like, what?
That was crazy. Yo.
That was crazy. And after
the reason they backed the Rose up.
Yeah. And
didn't that happen to an ice skater as well?
Yeah, Nancy
Harden. Yeah,
Harden. Not stabbed, but they broke her leg. Her knee.
Oh, it broke her leg.
Did they really?
How about the Colombian goalkeeper? Didn't they like?
Oh yeah.
No.
It wasn't the goalkeeper.
It was a defender.
It wasn't the goalkeeper. It was the defender, Escobar.
But it didn't happen on the field. Andres Escobar.
Yeah, God rest his soul.
Yeah, man. Bro.
Javi, no comment, man. Colombians can't comment on this, bro.
No, man. Bro, the thing is, check this out, right? I actually met him a month before he died.
Oh man!
Because they played a friendly game in New Jersey against Greece.
Oh, okay.
So I went to go watch that game, and my father knew all of them.
Right.
Rest his soul too. And
Amen.
he basically knew them all. So I went to their hotel, got to meet El Pibe.
Got to meet everybody.
Yeah, and he was one of them. And a month later, he ggets killed because of a mistake he made during the game, bro.
Right.
So it's just crazy, man.
Crazy.
It's crazy things like that.
Yeah, sad.
He was great. He was a great soccer player too.
He was a really good player, and it wasn't his fault.
Nah, man. It's you
bro, shit happens,
exactly. But when you got cartels basically putting big money on things,
Yeah, man.
It gets a little personal out there.
Mm-hmm. What you got, Mike?
All right. Hold on. Let me see if I want you guys to listen to something. This, to me, is the best Oscar acting. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Mike, was that your shortest fight ever? I bear witness there's only one God, and Muhammad, blessed and peace be upon him, is his prophet. I dedicate this fight to my brother, Darban, who died. I'll be there to see you. I love you with all my heart. Oh, please, my children, I love you. Oh, God, amen. What?
Is this your shortest fight ever? In any time, amateur, professional ever?
Assalamu alaikum, Maida. I don't know, man. Yeah, Lennox Lewis. Lennox, I'm coming for you.
Mike, is it frustrating to train like you did and then have this in 7 or 8 seconds?
For this fight. I only trained probably 2 weeks or 3 weeks for this fight. I had to bury my best friend.
I'm going to give you an interesting side note about who his best friend was.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Legs to the conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Praise to Allah.
Dude, that boy
greatest, bro.
That boy, yo, he snapped.
He's the greatest.
So, side note, his best friend,
the guy who shot 50,
is the guy who shot 50, and in turn, 50 Cent bought Mike Tyson's house as a fuck you to Mike Tyson.
Right.
Being his best friend. That's why he had that house in Connecticut.
Farmington, Connecticut, yeah.
Yeah, he bought that shit as a fuck you to Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson was best friends with the guy Hamo that shot him. Isn't that crazy shit?
Yeah.
But that's my fucking moment right there. That, and I could actually do like a whole montage of Mike Tyson moments, bro. Like the one where he's on the stage and he's basically calling out the reporter, and the reporter's like shitting his pants. And how about freaking when he bit Evander Holyfield? Like,
how about when he tells the girl, "I can only answer that question if I fornicate."
If I fornicate, and you know, if you're not gonna fornicate, just be quiet. Mike Tyson, bro, right there. All right, guys. Anybody else got one? Is that everybody? All right.
It's funny that we only talked for a second about Tyson biting Evander Holyfield's ear. That's got to probably take.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It was So I've watched that fight a good 7 times because the first time I watched it, I thought he was outclassed in that fight. The first time I saw it. Every time I watched that fight after that, I was like, "Holy shit, that was a really good fight." That was a really good fight. He got dominated in the other fight. But in that fight, that was a really good fight. And that's why I kind of like, and you saw what he was talking about, where Evander, which is nothing new for Evander. Evander was always in close.
Leaning.
Looking to cut you. But that was actually a very good fight. I would have loved to have seen what would have happened. And I don't think Tyson would have won that fight because he was getting worn down. And his whole thing has been when he can't intimidate you, you took away 50% of his fighting ability.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's in my opinion. That's always been the thing with Tyson. If he can intimidate you plus his boxing skills, he's a monster, unbeatable. But if he can't intimidate you, then he's susceptible to losing. He can lose. You know what I mean?
Can I comment on that, Mike?
Yeah.
I think you're right, but let's not forget that his boxing style was peekaboo style. That was his style.
Yeah.
You fight somebody with a reach that has skills, you're going to run into problems because your face is wide the hell open.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't have D'Amato to teach him other styles to kind of, evolve. I forget how long Atlas even trained him, but I think yes, you're right. But people don't talk about his style was only going to work if you could get close to your opponent. Exactly. It was like this. It's the first style I ever trained with. I know it. Like it's only going to work if you can get close to your opponent. If you're fighting somebody who can keep you at a distance and has skills, you're going to lose.
And one of the things you saw as he got older was his lateral side to side. And when he was early on, he would not only dip here, but he would dip at the hip. So he was like a squat, and he was coming down. And as he got older and he got more lazy and he started doing more cocaine and all that bullshit, all of a sudden this was the move instead of the drop. And when you do that,
you have to have the short hook and the uppercut for that to be successful. You have to.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to talk about some notable stuff that happened this week in sports. Definitely want to talk about our Cinderella team. That was a beautiful, beautiful run. I love what, Shaheem Holloway said, basically calling the fact that, you guys are from New York and New Jersey, bro. We don't get pushed around. We do the push.
Exactly.
I really love that because it was him not only showing some swagger, but it was him really standing up for his kids. Like, these aren't some B-side kids, man. These are some tough, rugged. These kids came to play. That's basically, to me, what he was saying in that statement. And you saw it on how they played. It's just crazy how, they come up against, what happened to them? I think it was the perfect storm. They came up against a blue chip team where the uniform did a lot of the work. Number one. I feel like the North Carolina uniform does a lot of the work. It's like with the Yankees. When people still on that field against the Yankees, that uniform does a lot of the battle for them. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the same thing with North Carolina. There's a couple of teams in sports where that's true. You know what I'm saying? Like the Dallas Cowboys. Say what you want. That star on that helmet, every kid is themed.
What about Kentucky? They knocked off Kentucky. They're as storied as.
I will tell you, I will fight back and say that Kentucky's K and their uniform, although they're within the basketball realm, they are. But if you grab a casual off the street, they don't know who Kentucky is compared. But if you show them Carolina blue, they're like, oh yeah, that's Carolina blue.
The players playing against them aren't casuals; they're D1 athletes.
Yeah,
I'm going to say that, but what I'm saying is the power of that uniform. That uniform has a power that comes across. Now here's the deal. This is why I was saying it's a perfect storm, because I'm not going to disagree with you. They did beat Kentucky. So the perfect storm is that powerful uniform, blue chip program, obviously talent, good coaching, and a scouting report. And I think that's that one nugget that they got the advantage on them, because now they had a 2-game, 3-game scouting report on this team, and they saw, and you could tell when they matched up their best defender on what's his name again, the guy with the mustache,
Eater.
Yeah, when they matched him up 1-on-1 and were like lock him down. You know what I mean? Where in other games they were letting him get set shots, they were letting him come off of picks and all that shit. This one they were like, none of that team shit. You're on him 1-on-1, lock him down. So I think to me it was a perfect storm on how they beat him. It was not only, the scouting report, it was not only but that uniform played a role, in my opinion.
Eater has had 3 20-point games in his entire basketball career.
That's
2
insane.
of them were in the championship of the MAC and in the first round of the. So, like, I think in the end, you're good if you're that type of Cinderella team, and history has shown this. You play enough games against blue chips, you're going to lose to one.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure.
And another aspect of it is eventually law of averages came in.
Right.
Yeah, and at some point, depth off that bench. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have, I would say, 3 solid that could play somewhere else, starters on St. Peter's, right? Let's say 2, maybe 3. And after that, their bench takes a serious drop-off, man, compared to a North Carolina bench, where the last on the thing is still a McDonald's All-American. You know what I mean? So that's another thing.
Size and shooting in that Carolina game.
That's what it was. I mean, St. Peter's missed a lot of open shots. I mean,
St. Peter's did get a lot of good
shots. That's why,
hey,
you guys, you see, that's why I feel like the uniform played like I say the uniform to really talk about the moment. The moment got to them, and it got to them because they was looking across and they saw that Carolina blue.
I'd give you more the moment with the round, it being Elite 8, more so than it's just Carolina's on the court. And I am a Carolina fan. Don't get me wrong. But to me, at the end of the day, it came down to what Dre just said. It was the rebounding, and St. Peter's missed open shots.
And that's the law of averages. One of you guys said that. That's the law. You're not going to be
hot 2 games in a row. Is the talent disparity finally kicked in the balance of it?
But them guys got heart, man. I'm not taking nothing away from them. I'm gonna give them a little round of applause.
I believe
that was a great run they made.
Jersey in the house,
real, bro. I believe Shaheem Holloway, coach.
Props to him.
You know how people say they outkicked their coverage. I think that Shaheem Holloway
today, right?
He coached them above their.
Yeah.
He finalized the Seton Hall. Finalized the Seton Hall today.
Yep.
Then look at that. He's gonna be. You give him some talent. He's just coming off with some credibility.
He's gonna be getting all kinds of pirate booty.
He's
got a wife, man.
Yeah. It's chill, man. Come on, it's PG now. He comes off with some credibility now. As an Elite 8 coach. You know what I'm saying? So when he steps into that living room to recruit in the Jersey area, New York, see, people forget, man. People forget how much talent. There's not a lot. Like, if you get the right coach that can talk to these kids, and you're in that Northeast, bro, the amount of talent in New York and New Jersey, it's like Florida, right? Florida, you could throw a ball and you will hit a fucking NFL wide receiver in the back.
Right.
Like you'll hit him. And it's like, but when it comes to basketball, you're like, nah, it's like, it's as athletic as these kids are, it's spread across the state.
Yeah.
Like spread across the state. You get like 5, 6 really, really good kids. Where in Jersey, you'll have a public school like Linden back in the day that was banging out, freaking Division I players.
Irvington.
Camden, baby.
You get
Camden. Atlantic City.
Irvington might be one of the best public football programs in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah.
Montclair, too.
Irvington, top Montclair.
Yeah.
Fiore's out. Fiore retired. He's gone from Montclair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Irvington right now for the past 5 years has been probably the top public football school.
I thought Elizabeth was making a push, but I don't know what happened with them.
They lost to Camden in the tournament.
That's where Fiore went now.
Oh, okay.
They won states. I think, what are they, group 2 or 3? They lost to Camden, who actually ended up losing in the final of the Tournament of Champions, which apparently I heard this is the last year they're doing Tournament of Champions. I got to look at that. That's weird, but
okay.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay.
Why?
That'd be crazy. That's a fucking great tournament.
Yeah, they're stopping that.
Well, I
wonder why. What are they going to do? What format are they going to do?
Our Tournament of Champions in high school sucked because every year Don Bosco Prep won every fucking thing.
Well, back in the 90s and 80s, it was St. Anthony's always in the
final. Gotcha.
Oh, no, wait. It was St. Anthony's, Patterson Catholic had a monster squad.
What was the other school from Newark?
St. Patrick's.
St. Benedict's.
Elizabeth.
Newark East Side was nice too with Randy Foy.
Right.
And AC was nice with Lou Rowe.
What about Patterson Catholic, Tim Thomas?
Yeah.
Yo, remember that?
Nova.
How about Felipe Lopez over there in New York?
You know what? To Patterson Catholic. Kyle Anderson went to Patterson Catholic. Closed down. He goes to St. Anthony's. And now that's closed down. Like, you had these schools that were powerhouse schools.
Monster. You have St. Anthony's school.
And it's just like ridiculous. Now, Marist is closed now.
Yeah, Marist is closed.
So it's like crazy that, all these schools that we knew in the 90s that were powerhouse schools of basketball are all closed down now.
Right.
And I'm
just unfortunately, it's a dated model. The whole
so they're like the FUBU and Carl Kanai of
the cross color.
Pretty much, bro.
No, it's
the Mark Echo.
It's a dated model though. Like
John.
Before you can grab a Catholic school, they would fund it, they would offer them scholarships, and you had enough you had enough homes where people were sending their children. With the invention of charter schools, with the fucking there's a lot to it. Unfortunately, the lawsuits that happened with Catholic Charities, where the scholarship funding kind of dwindled, donors dwindled. You know what I mean? There's a lot to it, man. But
the high school boys were too old for them?
Dude, and you talk about my offensive posts?
I'm just spitting facts, man. Oh shit! Yo, that's fucked up, man.
Amen.
He's gonna gloss over that like it never happened.
You might want to step back from your keyboard, bro.
Yeah, fucking uncomfortable moment. Just fucking. But yeah, man. I and you know what else? You know what else really destroyed the need for those things? AAU, the how it's blown up. You know what I'm saying? It's literally blown up, man. It's like, I don't know. I keep saying it. I know the other day, yesterday, a kid was like, no, he made a good point. But I'm like, for some reason, I just see there's more tournaments. There's more state tournaments. There's more, the scouting of AAU is on another level now. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't know, maybe that's affecting it. But all I know is that the tri-state area is stacked. And if whoever recruits it can get the players to stay, bro, there's no reason why that Seton Hall team can't be a power. The only thing Seton Hall has against it, to be honest with you, is that the campus is just average. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to Seton Hall and it's all right. It's cool. It's a nice little campus.
You don't want your coach all up in the video? Come to Rutgers.
Come to Rutgers. Come to the rack.
You don't want your coach taking all the pub? Come to Rutgers,
but listen, look, Seton Hall made it to the tournament. So there is
it's
already like a little like pipeline, right?
Yeah.
For Shahid to basically not start grabbing, let's just say, better talent, higher recruits, I'm not saying he's going to get the top 10s, but now he could possibly get into the top 20s, the teens. He might be able to grab one, and that's how you build a program, right? That's how Krzyzewski did it. He started getting one, then he started getting two of them, then he started getting three of them. So hopefully with the St. Peter's, rise to the Elite Eight, Shaheen Holloway could actually do that for Seton Hall, because I'm going to be rooting for him just for the fact that it's in Jersey,
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I want the Big East to be that much more relevant, because lately it's just been Villanova, right? Villanova's basically taken over the Big East, and they've been in the Final Four 3 out of the last 5 years or something like that. So I want more of what we used to see in the 80s, right? When it was Georgetown, St. John's, Syracuse. You got.
So next year, one of the cool things that's going to happen is I'm not sure if it's the round of 8, but they're going to host. New York City's going to host the game. It's going to host a round. Las Vegas is going to host a round. Louisville, and I can't remember who the other city, but it's like primetime cities, man. They're bringing the NCAA tournament to primetime cities this year. You know what I mean? So to have some games in New York, that's going to be dope.
That was a good point Javi made. You're also besides the Jersey recruits and New York recruits, who are you competing against? St. John's, and most of the fans,
maybe Syracuse.
Syracuse is far though. You know what I mean? They have a really good shot to snap up the guys who were.
Where Patino is? Where is that? Iona.
They lost to Ryder, I think.
I don't think. I think at this point it's not that I know Rick Pitino's a name, but I think Shaheen Holloway is the hot commodity right now. So I think the way he expressed himself in the interviews, the New York and New Jersey kids are gonna gravitate to that. That's what, he said, that's what we do. He's gonna make them now. I want to go with him. He understands the type of ball that I play. And he's not going to try to change that from me, as opposed to maybe going to North Carolina, where you're going to have to compete against 5 other guys from all different locations that you're going to have to start learning how to gel into this new system. So I'm rooting for the guy. I'm definitely rooting for the guy.
Yeah,
but let's talk about the Final Four right now. Let's do this. We got the biggest rivalry.
That's right.
Going at it this weekend. All right, and Duke, North Carolina is prime time. All right, but I know who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for the baby blue. All right? I don't do Mike Krzyzewski.
Hey, you're rooting for the baby blue too?
I hope they both lose. I hope it's a tie.
But I'm going for Nova.
Yeah, me too.
But losing Justin Moore is huge.
Yeah, man, it's too much to overcome, I think.
Yeah, they go 6 deep. Now they're really 5, and now they got to ask somebody to go deep. Now, that's not even part of the plan. So, I don't know if they overcome that against Kansas, but if they do, hey, listen, man, I think Jay Wright's the best coach in college basketball. I know people are going to tell me about Mike Krzyzewski. I know they're going to tell me any other coach. But what Jay Wright has done with lesser talent, to me, in my opinion, shows more of his coaching ability than the other ones that are still in it right now.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. I really like what he does. Anybody got an opinion on that?
Well, yeah, obviously you guys know I'm going to root for Carolina. And this is the first time they've played each other in the tournament of all the times that they've ever played each other. This is the first time they've played in the tournament.
Yeah, that's why it's prime time. It's crazy.
So, and it's a huge story, not just because it's the biggest rivalry in college basketball and one of the biggest in overall in sports. It's okay. Will Duke get its revenge for the ass whooping that they got in Coach K's final home game, right? And then move on. And if they play, let's say hypothetically against Kansas, well, that's who Coach K won his first title against. So could you imagine that story? That's one scenario. Yeah. If someone's going to put the final nail in your coffin, Coach K, it's going to be us, right? Boom, they go there. And if Carolina goes up against Kansas, who's Roy Williams going to root for?
Yeah, right. That was his first team.
But so on that side is my heart, right? Obviously, and then on the other side, I definitely would have picked Nova for sure if they hadn't lost more. So we'll see what happens there. But on paper, logically, you would expect Kansas to win that game.
Yeah,
but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it is the tournament. Things happen. When emotion and motivation and drive, kicks in. Sometimes things happen. A la St. Peter's. So we'll see. We'll see out there. But I mean, in the end, for me, I just at this point, I didn't expect Carolina to be there as an 8 seed. So now I'm just going all the way, obviously, with that.
And let me just say, I think Roy Williams roots for North Carolina because there's still players that played for him on that team.
So pretty class,
so he's attached more right now than he was to Kansas.
Yeah.
All right.
And he hates Krzyzewski.
Well, he's talking about if
I know Kansas plays North Carolina.
Yeah. But the hell with Duke.
I'll eat my words because I thought Providence was going to knock off Kansas. They obviously didn't. And I think now Kansas has got to be the favorite. So, I think they have a good chance of winning it all. So I'll eat my words. But I'm going for Nova, certainly.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Bill Self every year. He's a great coach. You got to give him props. He always has his program up and running.
Yeah, Bill Self's a good coach.
Yeah, you have to definitely give him props.
But but Jay Wright's better.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I wanna get that argument here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been The Sports is My Love Language podcast. I'm your boy, Dropping Dimes, a.k.a. the Hopeful Romantic, a.k.a. the feminist with chauvinist tendencies. And this is my crew, my man, El Schefter, my man, the Mr. Official, a.k.a. Abito, and Major Money himself. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you. Definitely drop in, comment. Let us know what your thoughts are. As usual, meet us here Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Come into our living room. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it. We could agree to disagree. We could agree to agree. We're going to go off the beaten path. We're going to take a deeper, in-depth look on certain sports and different angles. But we welcome you. Comment, like, share. And we'll see you soon, everybody. Have a good one, guys. Peace.